What's up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103, and welcome to episode 8 of the Blaugrana Podcast. I have my co-host with me and my boy, Omar BYT, who's no longer Omar BYT, is now Omar Talks Football. We got the rebrand going. That's how big moves are going now on YouTube. How's it going, Omar? Let the people know how you're doing.
Hey, listen, man. Appreciate you for having me as always. Another episode of the Blaugrana Podcast. And yeah, listen, we're leveling up, man. It's no longer Omar BYT, it's Omar Talks Football. You know, we finally did the big 5K. You know what I mean, right? So we just, trying to elevate, man. You know, get the channel growing and stuff like that. But listen, man, appreciate you for having me always. And yeah, man, listen, man, let's get into some Barca talk, man, because things are more positive now and more of the positive side.
Yeah, we'll talk about the games that happened in the Champions League, games coming up ahead, a little bit of news. We'll dive right into it. On the Frankfurt game, I do want to know your thoughts. I think everyone on my channel pretty much knows what my thoughts are, but very quickly, I thought we played all right. Just in the final third, we just looked really, really sluggish. Again, defensively, we conceded one chance and they end up scoring from it. We need to isolate that somehow. We've kept one clean sheet in our past 20 games. I think it is, or 16. No clean sheets in the Champions League this season as well. So defensively, what we do look, I think we have improved. We do look, a bit better than we usually do, but we just tend to concede every time we give the opponent like a chance or two. But I think overall, I thought we played, quite similar to Betis. Not as good as the Betis game, but on a similar level. But let the people know what you think.
I mean, look. I feel like you're being nice if I'm going to be 100% honest.
Really?
The only positive for me was the win. I left that game really not happy. And here's the thing, right? I wasn't even like raging like I usually am when I see a performance like that, right? Because I have learned to set my expectations very low in Europe, yes, in the league. I feel like last few weeks, we've seen such an upturn in performances in the league. That's why we're doing so well, right? Big wins, right? We win against Betis. I feel like we played amazingly until like the last 2 minutes when we kind of conceded 2 goals. But really, apart from that, the performance was amazing in that game, right? And in that Frankfurt game, we played against a Frankfurt team that they're one of the worst teams in the Champions League. I'm sorry, I know they're close around the playoff areas, but if you actually look at their team, they have one of the worst defenses in the entire competition. They've been getting destroyed by everyone. I feel like this was the kind of game where this is the kind of team that Barca would have loved to play, considering, how tight it is up there in the playoff areas and in the top 8, right? Right. This is the kind of team where you're thinking, okay, this is the one team we want to play. Defensively, they're poor. We have one to do. Our attack is cooking right now. This is the time for us to take advantage and actually show something in this competition. But no, I'm gonna be very real, man. Honestly, the biggest thing I took out of that game is why, and this is why I don't think this team is ready for the Champions League really anytime soon, Hafed. To win the Champions League, it's not just about having the best squad. It's about having a different mindset. There's a reason why teams can be awful in their league and still go on to win the Champions League. You have to have a certain level, different mindset, a different kind of mentality when you step into Europe. That's why even in the times of the 3P, when Madrid were doing 3Ps, we were still dominating the league. They were nowhere near us in some of those title races. We were clear of them. But in Europe, they had a different mindset. And I feel like Barca, that's what we're missing. We don't have the European winning mindset anymore that we had in the treble winners under Enrique. I honestly believe that after Enrique left, we just never had that mentality anymore, because we had the teams. We always looked like we were this close. We were literally this close. And it was always in the end us somehow shooting ourselves in the foot or getting the rug pulled out of our feet.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I mean, right?
Yeah.
You can go all the way back to 2018, all the way to last season, when we had those last few seconds to hold on to go to the Champions League final, and we still went forward. See, it's things like that I feel like it's different, because winning teams with the Champions League winning mentality, they do whatever it takes to win. And I look at the team yesterday against Frankfurt. The way I kind of walked into the game thinking this is the best team to play against in the Champions League, right? Because they are conceding goals, they have one of the worst defenses, we have one of the best attacking teams. We'll be good. I feel like the players came with that same mindset too. And I'm like, that's the problem. You should not be going into a Champions League game like that, thinking like that. Looking at the Frankfurt team and thinking they're free eats. Their defense is terrible. We have one of the best attacking teams. We're going to score. Don't worry about it. Let's just take our time. There was no urgency. There was no drive. What I saw in the game against Betis, when we were going forward on their necks, like ruthless in front of goals in our first half, I didn't see that. I just saw us, having opportunities here and there, but we were just taking our time, trying to break them down. You understand what I mean, right? Rather than really just getting at them, giving them something to be worried about. That's why eventually they got more and more confident, and they were thinking, okay, let's try and hit them on the counter. And guess what? It worked.
But that was their game. That was their game plan going into it, hit us on the counter. I also think the history of this tie played an effect too. Not only was the away section so animated, you can see. I don't know if you see some of the footage.
I see.
No, I know you've seen the footage of that, but the footage I want to talk about is from the players. I think it was that 1-1 or a 2-1. You can see when the players, before they start the kickoff to start the game again after the goal was scored, a few of the players, I think it was Eric Garcia, Kuborsa, and someone else, are like pointing at the away section, saying and noting what the away fans are doing, throwing flares and beers into the home section. I think the history of this tie has a little play into it, and I do agree with you. I think in the final third, especially in that first half, we were non-existent. Fermin Lopez dropped an absolute stinker. I think we were being a bit lethargic, a bit individuality. Lamine holding on the bar too much. Lewandowski trying to take an extra touch, trying to find that extra pass. That's where my criticism comes in. But I think on the ball, off the ball, in the press, showing intensity, it was some similar wavelength to Betis. I don't think it was as good as the Betis game. And you look at the goal, we conceded as well. That one midfielder drives through Pedri, Lamine after winning the ball. Everything kind of fell their way. I think Balde should have defended much better. But I wouldn't say, I think I agree with you, it wasn't as good, but I don't think it's as bad as you're making it out. At the end of the day, when teams have poor records like this offensively, whatever the case may be, when they face Barcelona, or you can even put Real Madrid in that category, they turn up a different level. I didn't come to this game expecting to, absolutely thump them. I think we're at a point now where we just need 3 points. I think our chances of getting to the top 8 right now is 43%. We need a lot of results going our way, more so than us getting points. We have Slavia, Prague, and I think Copenhagen, our last 2 games. Those have to be 6 out of 6 points, but we need so many other results to go our way to get the top 8. But I would, of course, first get back to the Champions League, I think my score prediction was 3-0 for the game, but I don't think we played a 2-1 is the point that I'm trying to make. I think we kind of played more of a maybe a 3-1, maybe even a 4-1 kind of game with the goal that we did concede. But I just think in the final third we were lacking so much on a decision-making basis.
Problem, though, isn't it, Hafed? Because I have seen this team. I know this
team. Bro,
this
team. Let's be honest. This team ain't winning. This team is never winning the Champions League.
We're not. And this is what that's the point I'm getting. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
This is why I don't trust this team. And this is why in Europe I have learned to lower my expectations. Because I'm like, here's the thing, man. Sometimes, like you see last season, the difference is even last season when we were in the Champions League, we were dominating. We beat Bayern Munich, right? Even after our loss against Monaco, we went on a run, right? That's why we finished second, right? And even when we finished second, I was still telling people, I'm still not drinking the Kool-Aid yet. Because you understand what I mean, right? And when we looked at our side of the draw, everyone was looking at us saying that is an easy ride to the final. You remember, everyone was looking at us. They were saying easy ride to the final. We on paper are better than everyone in our side. And I told people, if we see Inter in that semi-final, we'll lose it. Because Inter are our kryptonite. They're going to find a way. And this is it. Inzaghi, he's going to set something up. And guess what? They did. And you know what's funny, right? I was more impressed in the fact that we scored 6 goals in that tie, because I didn't think we were going to score that amount of goals. I didn't think we were going to concede 7, but this is the thing. I told people, I said, for me, I look at the game against Inter and I see that's where we're going to end up slipping. You understand what I mean, right? And for me, the moment I really realized, Hafed, that the team wasn't ready last season was the Dortmund second leg. When we went to Dortmund with a 4-0 lead, and we almost brought them back into that game. That's when I said, yo, this is what I mean. This is why I wasn't trusting this team. Because even in a 4-0 lead, comfortable lead like that, I still left that second leg being nervous. I shouldn't be nervous coming into with a 4-0 lead. And that's why I look at this team. I said, for me, I know the squad is not good enough. I already know that. But for me, the thing that really stresses me out with this team is I have seen them turn up have that urgency. And sometimes I've just seen them just switch it off. And I'm like, in Europe, that's the problem. You can't switch it off when you're in Europe. You understand what I mean, right? You need to have that locked-in mindset every time you step into Europe. It doesn't matter who you play. You understand what I mean? Because that's the difference between you winning and losing. Because anyone can knock out anyone. That's the thing in this competition. So, yeah. I mean, look, like I mentioned, my expectations of this tournament is low. I don't think you and I both don't think we're going to win the Champions League this year. We definitely not. But I just left that game thinking, okay, well, I'm not going to be angry. I was frustrated with the performance, but I'm not angry because we got the win. And at this point, just take the win. Chelsea lost. You understand what I mean? Right? They're one of the teams that were challenging for Europe. Real Madrid also, you just saw them lose, right? They were what 3 points behind them. You understand what I mean, right? So anything is possible. So I'm just looking at it now thinking, okay, just get the 3 points at this point. Performance, I guess, doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I point out to just try our best to get to the top 8. I think the best we can do is 8th or 7th or something like that if results go our way. But it comes down to more so results going our way than really us getting points on the board. But we will see. Time will tell. Speaking of Real Madrid, of course, getting that fat loss against City. It's a game where City weren't at their best, but at least Xabi Alonso is staying, which is good. I really hope he stays till January to the Super Cup, so we can at least get some of those games out of him. But what are your thoughts on Real Madrid? Think they'll bounce back under Xabi? Think they're delaying the inevitable? What are your thoughts on the situation there?
I mean, it's beautiful. Almost brings a tear to my eye, to be honest, right? We've had to deal with this at the start of the season, right? They were all laughing at us when we were all in talk about crisis, injuries, questioning the manager. You know what I mean, right? We were there. We were there at the start of the season. They were comfortably on top, looking at us in the bottom, talking about being lonely at the top. Well, it's funny how life works, man. Within a few weeks, now you are sitting in the mud where we were, and now we're the ones that are lonely at the top, right? And here's the thing, man. It's difficult to watch. Back-to-back Bernabeu losses. You love to see it. And I'm seeing so many different news coming out right now. Talks of Alonso being sacked, Zidane returning. Now I'm hearing the breaking news that apparently Vinicius Jr. will not be offered a new improved contract and he needs to sign the new one that he's been given.
Zidane's never going back to Madrid, man. Never.
Hey, listen.
If he was going to go back, he would have went back by now.
He's going to join. He's going to be France manager.
Yeah, he will be France manager come middle of July because
after the World Cup.
Yeah, because Deschamps said he's leaving after this World Cup no matter what. So yeah, he'll get the job immediately after that. And Zidane, if he was going to go back to Real Madrid, he would have gone back by now. But maybe
he can be interim. Maybe if he does.
That's not really his flow. And plus, he's someone who's smart. He doesn't want to ruin his legacy at Madrid. They already see him as a 3P god. If he comes in and gets knocked out of the Champions League and then doesn't look good, it'll ruin his rep. He's very similar to like Pep and Luis Enrique when it comes to Barcelona. But yeah, I think there's a lot of disbalance in their squad, reliance on Kylian Mbappe. You got, Rodrigo coming in, playing well. Vinicius I think Vinicius has like 2 GA in his last 15 games with 0 goals.
The guy has failed to score now in 15 games. People talked about it.
I told you, he has 2 GAs, so he has 2 GAs in his last 15 games. 2 of those GAs are obviously both assists because he's not scored. And those 2 assists came in 1 game against Olympiacos.
And that is the point, right? He's absolutely like people talked about Rodrigo's longevity without scoring. People were ignoring Vini. I think it's when Rodrigo scored that people really realized, oh, wait a minute, Vini has actually not scored a goal in the last 15 games, right? And even in that game against City, right, he played like the first 20 minutes, he was playing so well. I was like, yo, this guy without Mbappe is like something just like rised in him. But I'm gonna be very, very real. I look at the Madrid team, right? And I know I've been talking about the players, but I'm gonna be very honest, man. The fact that Alonso has now been at the club now since the summer, because he joined them during the Club World Cup, right? Since the Club World Cup, until we're literally about to end the year, and the guy has still not figured out his best players, his best positions for these players, and the best formation. That's a sign that doesn't bode well for a manager. I'm telling you, I've seen him play every single game. This guy's trying something different, and that's the problem. Like at the end of the day, you need to have one fixed style. Like with Barca, we know the 4-2-3-1 is the formation. That's the manager's formation. If he plays any other formation, it's going to be something different. Something has got to be the reason why. But the formation is 4-2-3-1. We know mainly who are his starting 11 players when they're all fit. We know who is going to start in the big games. You understand what I mean, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes he might tweak it, but we know his squad. And we know it very early. Because here's the thing. Even last season with Flick, right? I would say from like the start of the season all the way to October is when he was experimenting to see where he can fit everyone. Because we remember he put Raphinha in the 10 at the start of the season. It didn't look good. He moved him back. He moved him to the left because he was a right winger. He put him on the left, put Yamal on the right. When Olmo signed, he put Olmo in the 10 and then started playing Fermin more advanced in the 10 because he was playing as an 8 with Xabi. You understand what I mean, right? So he started playing him there. He brought Casado more in the team, right? I put De Jong there because remember, even De Jong really started stamping his place alongside Pedri around January, right? He was moving, he was kind of tweaking the team. But this is the thing. Around October, we kind of knew the squad by October. We knew Kobashi and Inigo were the partnership. We knew Balde and Kounde were the right backs. We knew Casado and Pedri were mainly the pivot until later De Jong started playing well. We knew Olmo was in the 10 when he was fit, right? We knew Raphinha was on the left. We knew Yamal was on the right. And we knew Lewandowski was the attacker. You understand what I mean, right? We already knew by October what the squad was. The fact that they're in December and we're still looking at this team, we're seeing Mbappe sometimes playing in the left and sometimes we don't know. We're seeing Mbappe in the middle. Sometimes he's moving to the left. We're seeing what's his name? Rodrigo not start at the start of the season. Now he's playing. Mastastuono was playing on the right at some point, and now he's not playing. Brahim Diaz was playing well. Then Goulet was playing in the 10. Now he's playing more deeper. Or Bellingham was playing in the 10. Now he's playing more deeper. And he's playing this 4-2-3-1, 3-5-2, 3-4-3. You understand what I mean, right? Changing different formations. I feel like as a Madrid fan, you're looking at this thinking, you clearly don't know what your best team is or your best formation is. And that doesn't bode well for us because now the season has settled. But the season has finally settled. Every competition now, we know who are the title challengers and all of it. At this point, you should have already known. And that doesn't bode well for our manager.
Not even that, but also you're seeing Xabi Alonso kind of reverting back to what Ancelotti did last season, playing the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. Arda Güler now is playing on the bench more regularly. We had Marisa saying to us in classical time that Arda Güler is a revelation, and now he's holding bench for like 3 or 4 games in a row. We haven't seen.
Yep.
Yeah, we haven't seen Mastantuono in a while as well. So, I mean, I love to see it. Let's hope that it can last as long as possible. Apparently, he'll get fired if they lose the Deportivo with Alaves, but this cycle is always going to come now. So now they're just, in my opinion, delaying the inevitable. I would bet my house now that Xabi Alonso will not survive the season, because when you keep saying, "Oh, if he doesn't win this game sack, you're just buying like more and more pressure. In the end, they're gonna lose, and then they're gonna pull the trigger. So they said that for City. They said, "Oh, they played well, one more game." Then they're gonna say, "Oh, one more." Then they're gonna keep pushing until there's a point of no return. So we will see on that. But this weekend, we do have Barcelona, Osasuna, and also, like we just mentioned, Alaves against Real Madrid. This is the second last league game until the Christmas break. Hopefully, Barcelona can end the year heading into Christmas break top of La Liga. Last match at the Camp Nou in 2025, although they've only been quite a few. What are your thoughts heading into that match against Osasuna? Osasuna, I think, right now sat like in 14th place in La Liga, so not the greatest from their standards of recent years. But any thoughts heading into that match? Anything you want to see specifically in terms of team selection or style of play or anything like that?
Look, I think if you look at the record of Osasuna away from home, it's dreadful. This should be a win. I don't think they're gonna come into our game trying to do anything. Because here's the thing: I've seen them play away from home, and they don't really go at it. They don't try something. They don't maybe sit back, kind of hit teams in the counter. They just kind of try to wing it and kind of stay into the game and we get a point. That's the kind of team that they are. And when I'm looking at this game, and like you mentioned, it's second to last game before the Christmas, or is the last game before the?
It's the second last La Liga game before the.
So we're playing Villarreal the week after, right?
Yes, we have Osasuna, then we have Guadalajara midweek, Copa del Rey, Villarreal, then Christmas break. So 3 more games.
So I'm gonna be very real. I would go strong in this one. Like look, right now, I feel like what's important for Barca is for us to kind of continue to open that gap that we now have on Madrid. Because even if we draw points this weekend and they win, we're still top, right? But considering we're playing Villarreal, who are second now in the table, right? They are one of the form teams. We're going to be away from home. That's going to be in their stadium. I know we have a good record there, but still, it's away from home. It's not going to be easy. You understand what I mean, right? I feel like this game against Osasuna is important. We need to go out there, get the best team, and make sure we get the win. You understand what I mean, right? Get the best, because like you mentioned, we got a midweek game against Guadalajara. Just put the second string team, like literally, just put the youngsters.
Not too much though. We gotta win that game.
I mean, look, I don't really care. Well, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real, bro.
Don't say that. We are the Copa del Rey champions.
We have a lot of good players on the bench that we can. But we have a lot of players in the second string who can do the job. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but I wouldn't go like full rotation though.
No, not full rotation. But I'm gonna be real. I trust players like Joe Fernandez to play well in that game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, even if Rashford doesn't play tomorrow in the game against Osasuna tomorrow, right? Play him in that game. You know what I mean? Right? Play Ferran Torres in that game. Start Lewandowski in this game. Put Ferran Torres in that game. You know what I mean? Those are the bench players. Play Casado and Bernal if you want. You know what I mean? In that game. Give Casado an opportunity. Start him in that game, right? Jeffrey Torres. Those are another player who I want to see in that game. You know what I mean? Against, right? Second goalkeeper. Maybe I don't know. Are you trust Ter Stegen to play in that game?
It should be Szczesny. If it's Ter Stegen, I will be a bit annoyed. So hopefully it is Szczesny. All right. I low-key care hope it's Juan Garcia. I would
the
do.
second team can still do the job.
Yeah.
Fernandez as well. I think Tony Fernandez, he's been highly rated.
I think he's injured right now.
Okay, Ronny Baji then.
Yeah, Ronny
Baji. Ronny Baji. But yeah, for me, I feel like play the strongest lineup against Osasuna midweek, rotate the squad, and then give the players, the top players, a rest for the game against Villarreal. Because those are the games that are important, right? I still trust the second string to still do the job against those teams in the Copa del Rey. No problem. You understand what I mean, right? I'm not saying it's going to be a walk in the park, but I still expect us to do the job against those teams, right? The second string. But in this game, as far as the Osasuna game is concerned, bring the best squad and let's get the win. We're playing first. So let's get the win and just sit back. Because, anything can happen between Alaves and Real Madrid, bro. I'm sorry. They drop points against clubs like Girona. So I'm not looking at Alaves thinking, I
think when everyone expects them to drop points, they won't. So that's why I think they'll probably win, because we're all thinking, Alaves can do it, Girona can do it, if Elche can do it. But when everyone expects it, I think that's when it's not going to happen. But if we expect it and it does happen, that's, beyond sweet at that point. And then they would drop the third place in the table as well. I think Atletico Madrid play Valencia, so we'll see how that turns out. I think they play before. I think Atletico play first, then us. Then on Sunday, Madrid play Alaves. So we'll see how the weekend does conclude. Some news I do want to discuss just before we wrap up. Firstly, I think something that's very interesting that came out just a few minutes ago was Thiago Alcantara, one of the coaching staff of Hansi Flick, was just offered the Levante job. Now Levante, don't forget, they're in La Liga. They're not in the Segunda or third division. They're in La Liga, and they've offered Thiago the job, which he'd be competing in the first flight of Spain. I want to. Thiago has said no. He has rejected the offer officially.
Yeah, he's rejected it. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. But what are your thoughts on Thiago getting that job offer? If you were him, would you have taken it? And do you see Thiago staying at Barcelona long term, or is it more so short term for the experience?
I think it's more short term. I think he's trying to, obviously get his. I think he's got his golden badges already, right?
Yeah. That's why he's there. Yeah.
He's got his coaching badge, and I think that's the idea. I think eventually he does want to, kind of spread his wings and get a manager's job. And I'm gonna be very honest, that's not a bad job to take.
That's why I was surprised.
I was surprised. A job in La Liga job. Right?
Yeah.
Like you could not ask for better opportunity. I mean, look at what Fabregas took. He took a Como team that were in the second division at the time, but it was a good project to take them over, brought them to the Serie A, and they're challenging for Europe. Right, you see now people have been hyping up Fabregas. That you see about the Inter are interested in trying to make him the manager. Right, maybe next season. All that talk. I feel like with Thiago, you got to start somewhere, and that's not a bad place to start.
Bro, I think that's a great place to start. I'm low key surprised he rejected it. To be honest.
Yeah, but also we don't kind of know where his mindset is. Maybe
Of
he might
course.
think he's not ready for that kind of job.
Of
Maybe he
course.
still wants to get more experience being on a manager on the flick and learn more before he can critique it. Because because I get it twisted. It's a team that is currently, trying to fight to stay in the league, right? At the end of the day, it's a big job to take over a club like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a big responsibility, basically, right? Right, trying to keep that team up, right? So I'm a very deal. Only he knows why he rejected it. Maybe he believes that he's not ready yet. But I do believe that, at the end of the day, he's got potential. Listen, at the end of the day, whenever I look at like top class, like when I see intelligent footballers, like I always look at like, they always ask me like, what players do you see maybe becoming great managers someday? I said, a reason why a manager like Xavi did so well, even at Barca and at Al Nassr Al Sadd when he was there, right? And it's because the guy is an intelligent footballer. He's an intelligent person, right? They adapt. Like sometimes you have to, because a player's game, sometimes it works well in how they manage. Even guys like Zidane, the reason why they became great managers is because they were the thinkers in their squads when they were playing football, right? Some managers, some top class players don't become top class managers because the reason why is because for some of them, they're so naturally gifted. They don't realize that the players that they are managing are not as naturally gifted as them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're expecting these players. Like I look at someone like Henry. I think Henry was a top class player, but sometimes when I look at Henry manage, I think Henry kind of puts his talent on some of these players, thinking that they're talent. They're not. And sometimes if you can, as a manager, if you don't think that way, right, you're gonna always end up failing. That's why a lot of top class footballers, world class footballers, never make great managers. The ones that make great managers are the intelligent ones. The ones who you could see on the pitch, they were the brains of the team. That's why I look at a player like Busquets. I say if Busquets decided to become a coach, I can see him becoming a great coach because he's a thinker. You understand what I mean, right? These are the thinkers of the team. And I think Fabregas, that's why he's doing so well, because he was a thinker as well. I think Thiago, he's a lot of that as well. He's not like the most, even though he's talented as hell, right? He was more of a brains kind of person, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm excited. I want to see what you can do, right? And maybe that's why he didn't take the job yet. Maybe he's still learning. He's still here. There's a lot of things he hasn't learned yet. And when he's ready, he'll finally spread his wings.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man.
What about your thoughts on the Uruguayan in our team, who is supposed to be, according to reports, coming back like after the Christmas break-ish? I think he went on a little bit of a mental tour vacation. Yeah. A lot of people still say not to bring him back and stuff like that. Eric Garcia today at his contract renewal ceremony is saying the squad misses him and they want him back, fully fit and healthy and mentally ready to go, blah, blah, blah. Are you still on the Araujo let him come back train, or are you on the keep him far away from this team, not to infect kind of train?
I don't think he's good enough for the club anymore. Look, man. Obviously, mental health is a real thing, man. I'm speaking from experience. You understand what I mean, right? So I know it's a real thing, man. Sometimes, football fans, sometimes they're very fickle, man. Like they don't realize that footballers are human beings. And look, man, I saw Diego Forlan recently comment, right? Because he's the president of the Uruguay Football Federation. He said that basically, Araujo, he's kind of been going through this for a while. It's not even because of the red card. I think the red card was kind of a tipping point for him. But they're saying like he's been the injuries and all of this the last year and a half, like the injury issues that he's been having, the past few years, he's kind of been taking a lot of criticism and stuff like that. It's been kind of getting to him. And for me, I kind of look at it, I'm like, well, if you're someone that deals with a lot of mental health stuff, sometimes it's important to go to a different environment where you can actually just focus on your game and enjoy it. And I look at Araujo and I say, the problem is you are at a club like Barca where the pressure is always on. Every single year, the pressure is always on. And every time you wear this shirt, whenever you wear this badge, eyes are going to be on you. You understand what I mean, right? Mm-hmm. So if you don't play well, trust me, the knives will be out. When you got sent off, you knew what was coming. I'm sure he knew, bro. He's been there before. In the game against PSG, when he got sent off, the media, the fans, everyone licked him a new one in that one. You understand what I mean, right? But this is the thing. You're not the first one. Trust me. Players like Messi. I remember when we lost to Liverpool, that famous remontada comeback against us, right? The next game, when they returned from the airport, Messi was getting booed. This is Messi we're talking about, who was carrying us that season. But even he wasn't an exception to the blame. Everyone gets criticized at this club. Everyone, right? So it's not for everyone. That's why being at a club like Barca is not easy. That's why when you get an opportunity to play for Barca, it's an honor for many people because they know there's a lot of pressure to wear this shirt. This shirt is heavy. If you don't do your job, you're going to get absolutely ripped. So for me, I look at Araujo and I'm like, I still believe you have the talent. I really do. I still think that there's a player in there. But I could tell for a long time that you don't have the mindset to make it at a club like this.
Mm-hmm.
I still think you have a mindset to, I still believe that you have the talent to go make it elsewhere. I still think that he still has the potential to still be a top class defender somewhere else. And people might look at it and say, well, what if he goes to another club like an Inter or AC or one of those clubs, where maybe they're not going to put too much pressure on him, and then he goes there and starts cooking. Well, would you regret it then? Maybe, but would I regret it? Probably not, because I'm like, well, listen, clearly he's at an environment where he's happy. And sometimes players, they respond well to play environment.
And the amount of chances we gave him too.
Exactly. So maybe maybe that's where he needs to be. Maybe he's at a place where he needs to be. Over here, he was never going to be that because the pressure we were never going to give him. The pressure was never going to be off. So for me, I just feel like Araujo, for his sake, he just needs to go look for another club. Just be happy. Go somewhere where you're going to be happy, where the pressure is not going to be on your neck.
Yeah. I fully agree with that. Anything else you want to add before we wrap up the pod? I think we've talked about basically everything over the past few days, and we're just at a point now. We're just pushing through till Christmas. Hope we can get 3 wins out of 3 and end off the year on a strong note. That way, we can go into that Super Cup with the winner's mentality to try and go and win. I think that Super Cup so decisive. We'll talk about that near the new year. But I think over the past few years, the status of that trophy has risen a lot. And I'm really looking forward to it because I think it could be a huge turning point for Barcelona if we continue our form and our performance is slowly but surely getting up there.
Yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I'm very optimistic in the league. I think that, we still have what it takes to still do well in the league and still win. You understand what I mean? Win the league, because not just because of our quality, but I look at the quality of our rivals, and I think, look at even Atleti. After we beat them, they lost to Bilbao literally in the weekend after. So clearly, you know what I mean, right? So, there's still a lot of time. You understand what I mean, right? But I'm still confident in the league. In Europe, is a different story. I'm just vibing for the
we're just there for vibes.
But vibing for the journey until we're done, right? But look, at the end of the day, we'll see, man. We'll see, and I just hope that we don't have any more injuries, because I feel like the injuries are beginning to slowly come back. We're seeing players getting injured, like we know Ferran returned, and then Danny Olmo got injured.
Yeah, we only got 2 players injured now, which is good. So we got 3 players missing, but 2 injured.
But they are recent injuries, so I'm like, we're still being.
But just all, I guess, I know what you mean.
Yeah, we're still having getting the hits from the injury bug, but still. I'm still, looking at it. I'm like, listen, I'm still optimistic.
Like heading into the new year, we should have everyone fit, but Gavi.
Hopefully, and hopefully, we don't get any more setbacks. Hopefully, next 2 games, right, or next 3 games, right, we can kind of just leave those injury free, right, and then look forward to the new year for sure.
For sure, man. Absolutely. Well, that concludes episode 8 of the Blaugrana Podcast. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, of course, make sure you leave a like down below. Subscribe down below as well. If you haven't already, check out Omer's links are down below in the title, absolutely everywhere. And we'll be back next week, of course, with a recap of this weekend as Barcelona continue to push to end the year off on a high note after being kind of on a low note during the middle part of the first half of the season. But that's it from us, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care, and Forza Barca.
Yeah.